Hello and welcome back to City Skylines! Ladies and gentlemen, today is part 22 of our vanilla Let's Play. And we are here in our newly named harbor, which is Port Corvo. I decided to go with Port Corvo because Corvo Attano is the protagonist of one of my all-time favorite video games, which is getting a sequel later this year, Dishonored. I absolutely love the game. If you've ever heard me talk about it, I've got nothing but praise for it. I'm super excited for the sequel, and I thought Port Corvo just had a really good ring to it. There were some amazing suggestions in the comments, by the way. There was Chocolate Harbor, or the Port of Chocolate, which would have went really well with vanilla. There were some suggestions that I wasn't too keen on, such as Porty McPortface. There was Port Harambe. And then there were some that were just slightly more, I guess, offensive. So there were some suggestions, but a lot of them were kind of memey. And I've been trying to stay away from throwing memes into this particular Let's Play. So Port Corvo actually sounds like it could be a place. I also discovered that Corvo is Italian for crow. So Port Crow, if you don't want to go with Port Corvo. But with that, we do have some orders of business to get to today. So I would like to get a rail connection into Port Corvo for cargo vehicles, or cargo trains, not cargo vehicles. Well, cargo vehicles, but cargo trains is what I should have said there. And the easiest way to do that is to clear out that space, then get rid of these trees and these rocks, and I'm just going to continue this section of train line under this industrial area, up out here somewhere, and then follow it along the, have it follow this stretch of road here that goes the whole way around. I do want it to stay above ground so that you can actually see the train line running, because I think it'll look kind of cool, to be honest. I think it always looks good when you can actually see the train line. So we're gonna go there, and I think it might be better if it stayed underground until about this point. So if I go to about there with it, and then we bring this across to about there, and then just have it do that. And as I've said before, it doesn't matter that it's a bit of a weird curve because you're never going to see it. All right. So with that done, let's just continue this to, let's see, I think about there. Then just bring it the whole way along that stretch of road. And it should look pretty decent having this this train line going up and around here. I can put some rocks alongside it, some trees and all that stuff to add a little bit of detail and decoration, so it doesn't look like it's just this weird floating section of land. Having it go through those trees is completely fine, but then what I want to do is get to about this point and have it curve that way. So it's gonna come in over here, and what I want to do is get a stretch of one-way road to about there, and there, and there, and then flatten some of this land, which does mean I'm going to need to get rid of some of these trees. And while I'm doing that, I do want to just take a moment and say that if I sound nasal or low energy or anything today, or my throat's going weird, I'm a little bit ill at the moment, which really sucks because I'm in the middle of pre-recording for a trip I have at the end of September. So yeah, I'm just a bit ill. I'm trying to fix my sleeping pattern as well. I've been sleeping like from 8 or 9 in the morning until some point late afternoon, then getting up, coming straight into work so I can live stream and then record videos all night and then go back to bed in the morning. I frequently get into this weird sleeping pattern, so that's not an issue. The issue is when I try to fix it, which I really want to do, because rather than what some of you might do should you get into this situation, which is what I used to do, which is just sit up for like 24 or 36 hours until it's nighttime, go to sleep and sleep through, then just get up in the morning, suffer through that day, and you're fine. I'm trying to pull it back, so I'm getting up earlier and earlier every day, so that I can combat it that way, because I'm not going to use the words "I'm too old" because I'm 22 years old. I'm not old. Well, oh god, I remember when I used to make fun of my some of my relatives when they were like 22. It's like, yeah, you're old. I am 22. Ugh. Welcome to Cities Skylines Midlife Crisis Edition. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that I'm trying to fix my sleeping pattern. I'm trying to pre-record a lot of content, and I'm ill. So today just isn't going well for me, which just sucks, but I'll be alright. It's fine. We can make a beautiful looking port area, and that'll make me feel a bit better. So let's just continue that train line over to there. And let's see if I can get this to line up perfectly. So it goes to it there and there. That looks pretty good to me. It connects through really nicely. I'm going to have to put some trees and stuff there, but that looks pretty good. I like it. Let's just smooth some of the terrain. Just a bit like that. And sort of over to that space as well. There we go. That looks good. I like it. I do absolutely like it. It's simple, it's effective, does what it needs to do, and apparently we need a police station over here. We can totally get one of those in just a second. What was I was going to do a thing. Ah, yes, pipes. That's what we needed. So a pipe can go to there, a pipe can go to there, and across to there. So hopefully, yeah, there we go. Some of these vehicles are going in there, which is great news. And I am going to put just a little pedestrian path along, actually, you know what? It's going to go through there. So this way we can double up the zoning in this area. I can put a little bit there, and I can put some zoning on either side of this train station with a few offices just there. So that should look pretty decent. It should, hopefully, lower the amount of traffic we have coming out of Port Corvo. But I'm not too worried about the amount of traffic, because it's still, I mean, yes, it backs up here. Absolutely, that is not the best thing. But it is just dense traffic, and as I've said before, I'm not really all that interested in fixing it, because it looks realistic, I guess. It sort of has that look of, hey, this is a really big city of like 66,415 people, so it's alright. And we actually have a couple of trains moving along here, which actually does look pretty cool. I really do like that. I love how it looks with the trains moving along. Obviously, it's not ideal that they go through this station. That's definitely something I should maybe look into. Maybe find a way to do like a bypass or something, which, to be honest, is probably doable in that space there. Yeah. If I was to go like that, and keep going a little bit further, so like even there should work, then that should totally connect, I guess, sort of through there. Can I get that to, go there and there? No, that's a shame. Okay, well that's annoying. This seems like it would be doable, though. Yeah, there we go. So in theory, that should totally be a way for trains to bypass that station. I don't know if they'll actually use it, but I'm curious. I mean, he wasn't interested, but he was on his way before that bypass will have existed. And, I mean, he might have been. I don't know. I don't know if they will. I kind of... Even if they don't use it, I like the look of that being there. I think it's pretty cool, so... I mean, it fills out the space as well, which is a good thing, because it makes the area look like it is, you know, a train yard as opposed to just an empty space. I wonder if I could continue this straight on to... no, that doesn't line up. Interesting. If I continue that to... say, there. Can I get a connection across? Annoyingly, no. That's kind of annoying. I was hoping I could, because then this would actually look, you know, like a train yard, the way it probably should. I also can't get a connection there, which annoys me. I guess I probably would need one of the anarchy mods, wouldn't I? For this kind of thing to work. because that is a very short distance to cover. So what we'll do is just connect it back up like normal. Just like, let's see, like that. In fact, that seems much better because that gives a nice long section of track. So that'll work. Delete those as well. Continue this to that point, and we'll do a little bit of a curve there as well. There we go. So hopefully one of the cargo trains will opt to use that as opposed to going through the station. It definitely fills up the area a bit nicer, which is all I really wanted from it. There we go! Beautiful. That's exactly what I wanted. That's perfect. Okay, so these guys are totally using the bypass if they don't want to go to the station. Which means that we should see, yeah, a bunch of cargo trains moving through this area. And definitely less traffic on that road. So what I'm going to do at this point is go in and... Actually, you know what? Let's not detail this just yet, because I keep doing this. This isn't a Let's Build series. This is supposed to be a Let's Play series, and I don't want to annoy people by just constantly doing build stuff. I did this with Planet Coaster as well. It was like, hey, here's a Let's Play, except 5 minutes into it, I spent like 20 minutes building a tiny little structure, and I don't want to do that. That's not the point of this series. This isn't a Let's Build, it is a Let's Play, and we are, I guess, at the point of the Let's Play where building is an option, but I don't want to spend, like, every episode working on tedious little projects. City expansion is... It's still kind of important. It's still a thing I want to do. So, it's a thing we're going to do. I'm also going to fill out this space. I could try filling in that space, but I kind of like it how it is. This space here, I think I'll put some trees into. Possibly some pedestrian paths. But for the meantime, let's just put a few little bits of zoning around here. So a bunch of new people can move into this neighborhood, which I'm going to need to expand because it is Hickory District, but it doesn't actually fill up all of that space, which is fine. I should absolutely take it off of that road there, though, because it was, once upon a time, going out that far, but it doesn't anymore. So yeah, that seems fine to me. These guys are going to fill out that space. They aren't all going to have water, though. So there we go, we fixed that. And once that's built up, we can go ahead and put a few more houses in there. It is kind of tempting to expand over this way a little bit, but I think the suburb kind of... I feel like it ends in a pretty good place. I do. I feel like the suburb here ends in a pretty decent spot. If anything... I'll make one little expansion of road to about there, so we can get just a few more people into the area with a few more roads just like that, and then one little section of road just there. Yeah, that's all that space needed. That's perfect. So let's fill up all of this space with some more zoning. These roads are very straight, which is slightly uncharacteristic of the area, but that's fine. I'm not too worried about it. Again, we're not going to focus too much on the Let's Build side of things. That's not what this is supposed to be, and I need to learn to control myself. So oh, God, right. Let's go ahead and connect to there. And that'll give us just a little bit of expansion to that area and got rid of the demand that we had for residential zoning. Now, we do have demand for commercial zoning. And we do still need to get not a leisure district, which is what Rushport is, but an actual tourism district in here. So, the temptation to build a tourism district down this way is quite high, but the problem is that won't really match the theme. Well... You know what? I think it will match the theme, because I've been going with this whole notion that, you know, this kind of, the northern part of town is old, and then this part is all new. As you can see, there's a very clear divide down this road, and then there's pockets of new in here. So, you know, Madison Square, I think when we built it, we kind of said, you know, this is a new development. We built Birch District, and it was also kind of a new development. So I guess what we could argue is that if we put a tourism area over here, it would also be a new development. So maybe that's what we do. Maybe we make a tourism area over here that is just a new development. So let's give it a shot. We're going to have to raise up this train line, which is fine. We will go like that, and then lower the height difference on you, so it goes up to, I think 6 meters is that height there, and then 12 is that one. So like that, and then the whole way along to there. Alright. So that's nicely raised up, which means we can get some roads through this area. We just have to be very careful with where we put the roads so that we don't cause too many problems with traffic. So what I'm thinking is a road going off of this bit would be pretty good, because there's no other, you know, there's no connections directly nearby, so somewhere like there would be ideal. And we're probably going to want one over this way as well, but we'll get that in just a second. So, let's just go like here. This area is going to need some good connections in general. No, that didn't go far enough. Yeah, this area is definitely going to need some good connections in general, because what we're going to end up with is a very, very busy space. So something like that is fine to start with. We'll go to about there, and we'll go to about there. In fact, if I just continue this down, this can just be a coastal road, which is fine. It looks like it's probably going to have to turn there, though, because it doesn't look like I'm really going to have the space to do what I want to do here. Unless I can get the curve to work, but I have my doubts. Actually, that's alright. It definitely plays into the idea of a coastal road. The only problem is that. But I think that works. I think that's kind of decent. It's not the most pretty connection there, but it connects through, and it kind of gives me space in here to put a bunch of tourism stuff, so, or hotels is what it'll actually be. So that's pretty good. The question is, can I build off of here? I can, actually. That's a surprise. That is actually kind of surprising. Didn't really think that would work. Alright, let's try... So that'll line up. Unfortunately, I'm going to need to go like that, and then I think that? No. Like that. Yeah, that's fine. Alright. Can I get a right angle on this? I think that's, well, not a right angle, but a 90-degree turn is what I was looking for. I think that's about right. It looks fine to me. This is potentially going to get real busy real quick, which is kind of making me think it might be a good idea to change some of the layout of this, which means we might want to move this tunnel along a little bit so I can continue the highway to this road. Or we just continue the highway through. That is a thing. We could continue the highway up to the airport, but I don't know. Maybe a proper highway connection there would be a better bet. We'll see. We'll see what happens, and then we'll deal with it at that point. We don't know what the problem's going to be yet, so we'll deal with the problem when it actually pops up. So let's just connect all of that together. And then I'm going to need to do some flattening of the terrain here in one way or other, because it is a little bit uneven. Although I don't think you wouldn't build a hotel here, would you? So I think it's probably fine. Some people are actually using that road already, which is a bit strange. Alright, fair play to them. I think I'm going to try and change this up a little bit. So, let's go... What is that? That's 5. And then that. So it needs to go 5 and then like 6 or 7. Maybe more. So that's about right. Okay, so it can go to there and then straight across. Bit of a weird dip there, but I'm not too worried. I think I can make this all work. Although that's probably really dangerous, because you just sort of dip down and it's like, yeah, I'm speeding along this road and I'm in the water. So you probably don't want to do that. Let's maybe try and fix the terrain so it actually works with what we're trying to do with the road. Go with a medium size, full strength brush, and just... Oh, that was smoothing. Okay, medium size, small, full strength brush up to there. And that works. So we can put the road in there, which means we can actually get a much straighter section of road as well. So what are we looking at there? That's 5? Yeah, that's like 5 units, and then that, and then that. Immediately, that looks much better. So let's smooth out the terrain and just get this all to look the way it did. There we go. So that looks pretty good. Much flatter, much straighter, and I like it. I could flatten out this entire section of road, but I don't think I'll bother. What I want to do is I want to go ahead and get space for hotels. I also think I should look into some of the unique buildings, because we could put the Gherkin in there, we could put some of the other buildings in here, such as the actual luxury hotel. There's things like the transport tower, which would just look kind of cool. We have the Grand Library, which is something I would like to put in here. We have the Servicing Services offices, the Science Center, we have an Expo Center, which needs to go in as well. Really, the Expo Center probably should be over in Rushport, but it doesn't have the room for it, so I don't know. Expo Center can maybe go up here. We'll see. We will absolutely see. What I'll do to kick off this area, though, is I think just a straight road like that. Then off of the sides of it, I want to go 12 units and just sort of make some blocks for zoning. So like that, and like that. Then this one can go another 12, and this one can go another 12. Alright. I think I'm gonna do that as well, and that, so we can get some zoning in there. Get rid of that bit and continue this across for another, like, 20, and then another 10. And I'm just trying to make this sort of work in a way that fills this area out nicely, but doesn't put buildings right against the coast, because I want to put a little pathway along there or a key or something like that. I'm going to have to do some terrain editing to do that, but I want to make this look kind of interesting. So if I do that and then maybe do a bit of avenue. So that traffic would be able to turn. I guess that kind of works. Although maybe just raising the terrain up completely flat and doing this all again would be a better idea. Or maybe just raising the terrain out from here, which I think might be the true better idea. Alright, so I've made a pretty big change to this area. I've decided that this road here is going to run fairly flat, just along here. There's going to be a drop, and then this is where the tourism area, or the hotels for the tourism area, are going to be. I do need to do some terrain smoothing in here, because I may have messed things up slightly for some of these buildings, but that's fine. We can just smooth a bunch of this out, and it'll look pretty good as a result. Now, I am probably going to put some tourism stuff in here as well. I actually kind of like the idea that we would have some buildings sort of extending over this way. So I decided to carve out some of that space as well. I do absolutely need to get rid of some of the, well, a lot of the rocks along here at the moment, because there's way too many of them, and that's something I don't really want in this area. But I do want to just make this area sort of curve around like that and go over to there. And that's where all of the hotels are going to be, and we're also going to put a bit of a key along the front of this. I can't actually just hold click to get rid of those, which is annoying. But there we go. All of those rocks are gone. The boat's gone. Oh, yeah, I want to destroy it. And those are gone too. Alright, so as for getting down into this area, we'll figure that out in a second. I want to get the nice key along here first. So it's gonna sort of follow... Oh, it's gonna be tricky, isn't it? Can I just get it to go straight there? No. Nope. All right. Oh, hold on. The shoreline. Yeah, I'm going to have to let the water and the simulation run for a second whilst this change happens. Fortunately, we really won't have to deal with too much flooding as a result of this because of the slopes that I've put in. So that's fine. The water's going to just flow straight back down there, which is not an issue. So this should just be able to go pretty much straight across there. Yeah, so that can go straight like that, which I enjoy. That can go like that, and then I kind of want it to just continue on a nice diagonal there. Then like that, to there, and to there. Alright, that looks pretty good to me. No, it doesn't. Never mind. It needs some curves going on there, because my god. Let's make it a bit curvy. Let's make it flow a bit more naturally. I kind of like the big straight bit there, but we're gonna see if we can just make it look better with a couple of curves. So, it's gonna sort of flow like that. Then it's gonna curve to there. Then around like that. Then to there and around like this. Then around like this. Alright, that, I think, looks a bit better. Yeah, that's better. Just a little bit of curving going on there just helps everything. Alright. As for all of this, I mean, I could technically continue that around, but that looks dreadful. So that's where all of the hotels are going to go. Now I just need to put in the pattern of the roads again, which, now that I look at what we have here, I totally could do a bit of a coastal road, because we have the sort of guide to follow of the keys there. So I feel like that's a good start. Does that dip in the middle? No, it's fairly level. That's a pretty good start. Then this can just sort of curve around and follow the key. Okay, so I'm not sold completely on the design that I've gone for here, but I figure I can probably make it work once the buildings are actually in place. I feel like this is one of those situations where the road layout will make sense when it's being used, which is at least what I'm hoping, because I really don't want to have to do all this stuff again. I don't want to keep going in and redoing these road layouts. I kind of like what we have here. And what we have is just a bunch of slopes, basically. It's nothing complicated. It's nothing over the top. It is just a bunch of slopes. There's no other way to put it, really. So, hopefully, this bunch of slopes can make something that's going to be kind of cool looking. So, let's do something like that. That's going to be a particularly busy road, I reckon, but that's all right. Then go to there and in like that as well. Now, that does slope up a little bit. I'm not too worried about it, though. As for this, I think what we'll do is just sort of come down to about there. This can sort of have some buildings along it and maybe a little park-like thing in there. This is probably going to be a park. This bit, I'm not going to worry too much about just yet. I'm going to sort of let the area build up and see how much traffic we're dealing with right off the bat before I go ahead and commit to a whole bunch of nonsense and traffic and all that stuff. So, let's do a pathway right there, which I know looks a bit silly, but that's going to stop any buildings from zoning on the avenue here, which is what we want. Let's do the same down to there. Do the same to there, and the whole way across this bit as well. And that'll give us a bit more of an idea of what we're actually dealing with, as opposed to the zoning that's coming off of those avenues as well. Now, that does mean this road can extend a little bit further, as can this one. Except for the fact that it seems to be messing with the pathways a little bit. So maybe you want there instead. Which, I mean, the pathways are still not great looking, but it's better looking than it was. As for this, we're going to continue you to about that point there. And I could put something in there, but I'm not really going to bother doing that. As for here, I think it might be a good idea to sort of plot in roughly where I want to put some little park areas so that I'm not dealing with a bunch of ugly zoning. So I think what I want to do is I'm going to put a path just there so we can get full zoning in that spot. And let me go to there and up like that. So something like that might give us exactly what I'm looking for, which is kind of that, I suppose. Put some trees and stuff in there. This bit's going to look particularly weird, so do not that. Do something like this to, I guess, block. No, that can't all be a park though. That bit can. That's going to have a building on it. Then I'll figure out what to do with this space back here at a bit of a later point. So we'll just sort of maybe just use that as a park. This can sort of be a park as well. And that seems fine. This is a park, but the rest of it is actually pretty much kitted out for some regular zoning. This bit in here doesn't really match up for some reason. Not really sure why. So that's also going to be a bit of a park going on there. And like I said, this space over here, I'm going to sort of leave. This bit is the initial batch of zoning, which I'm actually going to go ahead and put some offices on as well. I know that doesn't make too much sense, but having offices backing onto the train tracks has sort of become a staple of vanilla. So it's a thing that we're going to continue through to here. Just like that, which will hopefully nicely hide that train track as well. That's definitely the goal. And as we're doing that, let's just go ahead and start filling up some of the zoning around here. So there and there. Then definitely all of that space. Definitely all of that space as well. In there as well. And then these bits as well. So hopefully we're going to see some nice big hotels on there. That's definitely the goal. And what we'll do is come in with a district. So apparently it's going to be called Lake Hills. That doesn't seem like a pretty good name at all to me, so we're going to be renaming that one because Lake Hills, I mean, this is not a lake unless it's a bloody big lake, but I assume it's a sea because we have ships on it. So we're gonna not call this Lake Hills. It's going to be something completely different, but we'll come up with that at a later point once again so that we can just get the initial idea of what's going on. So let's just fill you across to there. And it's going to need to sort of go up to there and there and there. All right. So that should be pretty good. That's the dream anyway. So Lake Hills, you are going to be vanilla. And you are going to have a specialization. So that you are going to be for tourism. There we go. So hopefully that area is going to fill up pretty quickly. It should definitely look interesting. That's one way to put it. Is that? No, that I thought that was zoning. No, that's a bit of pathway. Good job, me. All right, so immediately we're seeing some big buildings, which is good because that's going to look so, I guess, it's going to look really interesting over the rest of the city that we have these tall buildings down by the coast. Now, they don't currently have water, but that's easy enough to fix. So bring a pipe to there, and there, and there, and to about there. Then we just connect through and fill up all of the gaps. So we're going to need a pipe in there, and across to there, and into all of this space as well. So there we go. You guys now have pipes. You're building up. Looking pretty good. Definitely gonna need some metro out here. It's actually a really good idea that I went ahead and left these empty spaces because that's gonna help with getting metro in here. The offices are slowly building, which is good. Definitely good. I just want to see what these buildings end up looking. That's a really small building. It's a nightclub apparently. Okay, sure. Every good tourism district needs metro lines, and this one is no exception, so it now has a series of metro lines that run the whole way along the front there along the coast and then sort of along this bit as well. What I'm thinking I might do is actually go ahead and move this red line so that it doesn't actually stop by the Opera House and instead stops over by the tourism district. Somewhere over here is what I'm thinking. So I guess we are going to at least fill out some of the roads and pathways and all that stuff in this area too. Now this area, I'm actually thinking I might make a separate district from the rest of what's currently known as Lake Hills, because I kind of like the idea of almost doing a, you know, a high-rise ban over on this side, so that we would have some smaller entertainment buildings, and that would kind of look just a little bit interesting here. So that's actually something I think we will just go ahead and do. So cut through there, and let's just make a sort of little standalone district here that goes up like that, along there, and down to, say, there as well. Alright, so that should be pretty good. I don't know what it's going to be called. Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen, place your bets. Let's see, what have we got? Brook District. Alright, that's it's better than Lake Hills, so that'll do. Let's just fill out this space there. And we'll just sort of touch up that little bit there as well. There we go. Alright, that looks fine to me. Quite a few people look to be using that metro line already, which is cool, actually. That's completely fine. This one's getting skipped over because it doesn't have electricity, but it will eventually. I assume a lot of these people are just getting on the trains and going into this this district, which kind of makes sense. Definitely a cool thing to see. I might do a little pedestrian path here so people can actually walk down into this area a little bit quicker. But at the moment, it seems to be relatively successful. A lot of buildings popping up. All of the offices seem to be in place as well, so this train line is now completely concealed, which is exactly what we wanted. So, yeah, let's get to this space here and see what we can do for some smaller roads for this space. So, if we get rid of you for a second and come down like, oh dear, this is not one to work with me at all. I really wish that keys didn't get the priority when it came to snapping and all that of roads. It's kind of annoying, if anything. But sure, I'll make it work. Let's see, can I get a proper little curve here? I guess I can, sort of. That doesn't look so bad. Might be nicer to just do that road all again, though. Although that doesn't seem to be working at all, which is slightly frustrating. No. Still sort of a no on that one. Alright, instead, let's just do a straight section of road which doesn't line up with the rest of it. Oh, keys, you just annoy me. You just annoy me so much. Go to, about there. Go straight. I can actually go straight across to there, apparently. Okay. Well, that makes things a lot easier. Alright, that suddenly made things so much easier. Let's go to about there. Then I can put some parks or something down there, so that's fine. So that is Brook District. Brook District is obviously going to have a specialization for tourism, but is also going to have a vanilla style with a high-rise ban. So that should be pretty good. And what we'll do is just go ahead and I think I'm going to put some offices there. And I'm also going to put some offices there and just there. Make those ones a bit smaller though. So that's pretty good. So that's fine. They are vanilla offices rather than the well, they're European, but that's fine. That's interesting that they've gone European though. I kind of wish they weren't. Just bring up that zone, that district zoning a little bit, so that guy's gonna turn into a different style. And then I guess just put some high density commercial in here. So just a bit like that, and we'll do a bit like that as well. Alright. I like this. This will be good. It'll be a nice little sort of non-high-rise but still high-density area of zoning, which I think is going to be needed. So that is definitely a high-rise. Those are definitely high-rise buildings. I don't know if City Skylines is having trouble maybe distinguishing between high-rise and non, but that's definitely a high-rise to me. Let's see if I put some like low-density commercial in here. Does it even build? That's the question. We'll have a look back at that in a second. How's this area over here? Oh my god. It's filled out so quickly. Which I'm okay with. It just filled out quicker than I expected it to. Let's, I guess, go ahead and move this red line. Which is definitely a thing I want to do. So, if I do that, and then move the red line to go there. I do think I want it to stop in there briefly. Then that should be pretty good. So hopefully we're going to see people use that. Yeah, we do have some... I mean, that is apparently low density, which I doubt, to be honest. I have my doubts on that one. But I guess we'll do some low density in there. And we'll do some low density there as well. Because I think they seem to be smaller buildings at least, so that's an accomplishment, I guess. So hopefully we'll see some proper little small... Oh no, that's low density. Apparently. That is... it's apparently low density. I disagree, cities. I do. But you tried. You definitely tried. Let's get some... This area here, I don't know what I'm going to do. I really don't know what I'm going to do with this. I'm also having trouble speaking. I'm sorry. Again, like I said earlier in the video, a little bit ill at the moment. Things are not exactly going my way today. So I do apologize for the slightly crap commentary on this particular episode. I will try and get better and make the future ones better as well. But I feel like this space is pretty much gonna have to be a park. So let's just bring a pathway to there. And sort of through like this. So around like that. And to there. And also from here. So a bit like that. That looks okay to me. I can do some nice decoration in there and make that work. This is just going to be decorated as well. These little spaces here are sort of going to be the same. And this space in here is also going to be pretty much the same. So let's just go in like that. And do a little bit of curving path. It doesn't need to go anywhere. It can just be there specifically to be a park. This area too, I guess, is going to have to also be just a park. So in like that, and to there. And then I guess we just decorate the heck out of it, which is fine. I can do that. I can get behind that idea. These are definitely they're not low density. But it does look cool having those high-rise buildings. Especially when you look from here. Because you do still have the sort of old town core of the city, and oh my god. You know what? Placing all that there has absolutely made that look better from above. That's... Oh, I'm smiling like an idiot because the project's coming together. That's kind of sad. It is a little bit sad, but... Like, just looking at all the suburbs and, like, the proper city. This is, like... I know it's not a Let's Build project. I know it's not heavily detailed. I know it's just sort of a Let's Play, but... I'm looking at this and it's like, hey, this is easily, in my eyes, the best city I've done. Because public transport works, and it looks like it sort of has a structure with like the old town core to it, and then it's expanded into the new style and all that stuff. It looks like it has a structure. I know it's just a bunch of grids and it's dumb, but... Oh, it's easily my best city. I've kind of taken everything I've learned from all my other ones and applied it to this one, and I didn't even realize... Oh my god, I shouldn't be smiling like an idiot about that. That's really sad. Oh, God. And it's not on the internet forever. That's good. Or until, you know, the sun expands and engulfs the planet. But, you know, hopefully that'll not be for a while. At least a couple of weeks. So, yeah. Let's just get some trees in here and nicely decorate this area. Make it look like it's, you know, looking good. Like it is an actual tourist area. A lot of people walking about there, which is good to see. Definitely gonna need some more connections to the area for buses and just general public transport, whether that's buses or whatever. If I could get a train station in here, I would. I just don't think that's gonna be a thing that we can do. So, we'll not bother with throwing any of those in. We'll just do a bunch of trees, a bunch of decorations, a couple of oak trees are gonna look pretty good as well. Just like that, and around there as well, that bit too. Yeah, they definitely fill out the area. Let's do a few along that pathway. And then let's do one big tree there, and some bushes just sort of along there as well, just to sort of line that bit of road. Now, obviously, it's a little bit messy, but that's fine. We can do some along there as well. There we go. I like it. I do. That definitely helps the area. Then just this bit in here, I think, is not necessarily the last area that we need to put some trees into for decoration and all that, but it's almost there. We have this bit as well, and then I think we can finish up with these little bits over here. So let's... you know what? Traffic is... Oh, yeah. Traffic's getting bad. Now that I look at it, traffic is not doing so great. Definitely gonna need to fix that up a little bit. Let's get a couple of trees there, and a couple in there as well. Seriously, take a shot every time I describe something as beautiful, or perfect, or amazing, or I grin like an idiot. You'd probably not be doing so great. You probably wouldn't remember this video in the slightest if you took a shot every time I was like, that's beautiful. That's a comment I see quite frequently, actually. I frequently see people, it's like, drinking game. Take a drink every time you describe something as beautiful. I see it in live streams as well. I can't necessarily say I condone that drinking game. That doesn't seem like the secret to good health, is all I'm going to say to that. Now that area is kind of done. This area here is going to just have a few trees lining it, I think. Just like that. And then the bit up top can have a few trees as well. Then in here can just have some bushes. I mean, we do have this giant cliff, which probably needs some rocks as well. But it's not really going to be possible to accurately detail this kind of cliff in vanilla, unfortunately. But I think that looks alright, to be honest. I really, really do. What are you guys complaining about? Not enough customers, really? We have an area for tourists to enjoy themselves over here, so I don't know why you're complaining. But this is good. I honestly really like how this has turned out. It's not entirely finished. I kind of want to build some stuff up here and sort of maybe finish the terrain alterations we've had to do, because this should really be a bit smoother around there rather than the kind of rough bit we have going on. So if I just smooth that out and then use the actual smoothing tool, that's just going to help it look a bit nicer. This angle here is coming from the building and the zoning, but that's fine. Smooth all of that out, and I think it looks alright. I really do. A few more trees, a few more buildings, some decorations, and a bit more public transport. And I honestly think this area is, it's helped that entire part of the city look like it's finished. And the fact that it's on a lower level helps as well. I'm so pleased with it. So the final change for today's episode actually revolves around Vanilla Domestic Airport, which, yes, it's called Vanilla Domestic Airport. And it is to this station here. Now, this station over here, as I'm sure you're aware, is sort of the end point for the blue line, which runs from one corner of the city to the other, in this case, the airport. The yellow line used to run directly to Rushport. It no longer runs directly to Rushport, however. What it does is it now runs from the airport, goes down this way, and goes through the new area. And on the way to Rushport, which it still goes to, it stops at every station. So it goes to every station, goes around, and it does sort of take a bit of a weird way to go around there, but it does, you know, go through all of this, and eventually it makes its way to Rushport. On the way back, it stops at a couple of stations, which is fine. Now, what's interesting here is just how busy this station is becoming, which is actually proving to be a little bit of an issue now that I look at it, because there are apparently a lot of trains that are trying to move around here. That said, I mean, it seems to be flowing. It is definitely flowing, so there's that. Now that said, I am kind of tempted to maybe go in and be like, hey, let's maybe remove some of the yellow stops and see if the yellow line will go a different way back to the airport. So that maybe from Rushport, it is an express line to the airport, which might be a good idea. So if I go in and I make the pink line invisible for a second, then we remove that stop, and we remove that stop. Yeah, that yellow line has gone somewhere completely different, which is probably for the best, because it didn't really look like that many people were going from Rushport. Now, that is a bit weird in a sense that there's not a line that now goes from Rushport to, you know, the actual... well, no, maybe it doesn't in a sense. Because you would get on a train and go to Rushport from here. Although I guess you would want to get back. I don't know. I think in terms of just making sure the trains are functioning, I am going to leave it like this, so that the pink line does flow through this area, and you can get from here to Rushport, but to get back, maybe you have to get on the red line. I don't know. It's really only important to me that these trains continue to function. Whether or not it makes perfect sense doesn't really matter too much. But that said, ladies and gents, I am going to leave it there for today. Lake Hills is not the name we'll be sticking with for this area, obviously, but it's definitely functioning. Now, what building is friggin' abandoned around here? That one. There we go. Yeah, it's definitely functioning. I think it is a really nice addition to this edge of the city, and I am really glad that we have two edges of the city, technically. This one's, you know, a harbor more than an edge of the city, but I'm glad that we have two edges of the city with two different keys with two different purposes. It's just really nice, and I'm really happy with it. So, with that in mind, I am going to leave it there for today, so thank you kind of for watching. This has been City Skylines and the Vanilla City Part 22. I hope I'm getting that right. I am pretty sure it's 22. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye!